had another real. That was a good voice. It was really good. Maybe we ought to hire him. Listen, we're very pleased with what's happened, and when you think about where we've come in the great state of Michigan, from basically single digits where people said, you know, how's he going to do, to where we are, in all likelihood, we're going to finish in second place, over 20% of the. And you know, we're all familiar with March Madness, and now the home court advantage is coming north. And next week, we are going to win the state of Ohio, and it'll be a home. And I want to thank so many of you who have been to New Hampshire, who have been living in Michigan, going up there, the strength of our team, the intensity of the people. And you know why? Because it's a positive campaign that lays out a specific vision for America based on the accomplishments of the past. We're now moving into a position where the people of America are beginning to hear this message, and it's going to get stronger. There's some interesting statistics for the late voters in Michigan. About 35% of them went for our campaign. And another thing you should know is with the contest going forward, the three of us competing for the delegates that remain, we are in a virtual dead heat among those who have yet to decide. You know, and to the Americans that are watching tonight, they're watching here in the U.S. and around the world, you know, it's a great story. We struggled and worked in obscurity for a very, very long time, always believing that once this calendar started to head north, once I had an opportunity with my team to be able to express our message, and the message is really pretty simple. That we know that the three things that matter most are jobs, jobs, and jobs. And we know the way to get them. The way to get them is common sense regulation, so we do not stomp out the success of small business, lower tax cuts on individuals and businesses, and an ability to finally have some fiscal sense in the United States of America. And we know that with fiscal strength and common sense regulations and lower taxes, that we'll be able to create jobs. And in our country today, people feel economic insecurity. They're worried about their job. They're worried about their wages. They're worried about their sons and daughters who have a college education with high debt, still living at home, unable to find the kind of work they want to have. Well, you know, those feelings are real among Americans. The concerns about whether mom will be able to get her Social Security, or whether, you know, 18-year-olds believe they have a better chance of seeing a UFO than a Social Security check. These things and these concerns are real. But I can promise you, in the first 100 days, we will have a shock and awe program for the Congress of the United States to get America moving again. You know, I know that Americans are wondering who can address this. Well, listen, when you have a record of success in Washington, D.C., where I fought the entire establishment to get us to a balanced budget and economic growth. And here in Ohio, taking a state that had lost 350,000 jobs and implementing that formula that has now allowed us to provide jobs in this state for over 400,000 families. We know what the formula is. Boy, you've been pent up tonight. Okay. But I also want you to know that in the course of doing this, we're going to shift a lot of power and a lot of money and a lot of influence back to where we live, because we know that the strength of our country rests in our families, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. I'll be the CEO to get these things straightened out. It's what I get paid to do if you elect me president. And if I need you, I'll call you, okay? But we also know that with the power that you will then have in your hands, it's up to us to change the world where we live. And for the people out there who feel as though no one pays attention, the ones that live in the shadows, the mentally ill, the drug addicted, the working poor who get penalized for working harder and smarter, or for the developmentally disabled, or our friends in the minority community, as we rise economically, no one will be left behind in the United States of America if I'm president. I want to thank the people of Michigan. It is a beautiful state. It's an incredible state. And the people are so nice. And I had such a great time. But I have to tell you, I landed in Cleveland today. And I got down on my hands and knees and almost kissed the ground to be back in the state of Ohio, okay? And I want you to know I'm going to continue to run a positive campaign and not get down in the gutter and throw mud at anybody. So I think the people are beginning to reward a positive campaign. One that they say to their children, this is the way to conduct yourself in politics. I think that people are beginning to see that. And secondly, because of that, just wait 1 week from tonight, we are going to win the state of Ohio, and it will be a whole new ballgame. We're going to win in this state because of you, not because of me. Oh, I'm just the orchestra leader here. But all of you together can move mountains. You know, we've learned a lot about Ohio, from a person walking on the moon to people learning how to fly and somebody who actually turned the light bulb on. You know, in Ohio, we're determined. We're special. And I believe that when we win next Tuesday, we will send a message not just to the country, but we're also going to send a message to the world that positive ideas coupled with vision and accomplishments, lifting everyone and getting us to remember we are Americans. Frankly, Americans before we're Republicans and Democrats, and conservative principles will work to rescue this country. Thank you all very much, and God bless.
All right, and to give you a recap, Fox News is projecting that Trump wins primaries in Michigan, Mississippi. Clinton wins in Mississippi. Donald Trump swept to victory Tuesday in delegate-rich primaries in Michigan and Mississippi. Fox News is projecting regaining momentum after his stunning march through the primaries was slowed over the weekend, while Hillary Clinton once again found herself faced with the prospect of splitting the night's contest with rival Bernie Sanders. Trump immediately tried to use his latest win to sideline the remaining competition at a press conference at his golf club in Florida, which we just showed you. He said of his remaining rivals, they're pretty much all gone. Clinton, meanwhile, notched a resounding win over Vermont Senator Sanders in Mississippi, thanks in part to her overwhelming support from the African American voters. But she is locked in a surprisingly close battle for the top spot in Michigan, where Sanders leads in early returns. This is a departure from months of pre-election polls, which consistently showed Clinton with a double-digit lead over Sanders in Michigan. According to exit polls, Sanders was leading Clinton among independents in Michigan, while Clinton held the edge among the state's critical union voters. Michigan is the biggest prize on the map Tuesday, with 4 states in total voting. Aside from Michigan and Mississippi, Republican voters were headed to the polls in Idaho and Hawaii as well. On the Republican side in Michigan, according to Fox News exit polls and early vote tallies, Cruz and John Kasich are locked in a battle for second place, while Marco Rubio appears headed for a 4th place finish. And in Mississippi, Trump projected victory leaves Cruz to finish in 2nd place. Kasich and Rubio are locked in a battle for 3rd, according to Fox News exit polls and early returns. Trump celebrated his win